Hi everyone and welcome to the GameFace MPNFL Netball Show. We're coming to you tonight with a thanks to our sponsors Frankie Media and Swibs Locker. And this week we are pleased to introduce to you our newest panel member, Lou Ma. You might recognise Lou from Frankston YCW and we welcome you to the panel.
Thanks guys, I'm excited to be here tonight and talk about all things netball throughout the season.
Really looking forward to it. Welcome on board, Lou. And even though we don't see eye to eye on some issues already, I'm really looking forward to the discussions that we can have throughout the season. Very exciting.
And I must say that these wines that we've got on the panel, I don't know if that was your idea, Lou, but we're welcoming that along.
Very happy about
definitely
that.
Definitely my Friday night routine, so I'm glad to bring that along. Okay, so thanks for sharing your comments this week and the opinions about the gate entry on last week's show. So clearly a very topical subject for everybody. So some of you made some really good points, both for and against the netballers paying to get into the games. And whilst I've got you two here, so one was for and one was against, would you like anything to add to the topic?
I think we'd all prefer not to pay gate entry fees, but when you look at the bigger picture and you see that not one president of the netball and football clubs opposed it, it was put into effect by all presidents. It's pretty clear that clubs need this to keep going and to keep our fees down. So it is what it is and got to get over it.
Yes, it'll be, it's interesting because I know our club in particular had a bit of an issue with that, but our netball club rather than the football club. So
I think
there's a little bit of disconnect there, I think, sometimes. And yeah, especially I think, I guess with the under-17s competition coming into it as well, I think maybe some of the mums were maybe not so happy. I think that was probably one of the main points that came out, that there's some mums that are like, well, we already have to run our girls around everywhere and now we have to pay as well. So I think, yeah, that may be a little bit of an issue, but hopefully they can maybe get some passes and
okay, so I just thought I would take the opportunity just to give some feedback. There was some comments that were made that may have been from a misinformed place. So just to get all the facts out there, that the decision for netballers to pay for entry into the games was driven by the presidents of the football and netball clubs. So like you just said, Sam, if there's a disconnect between the football and netball clubs, then this is the opportunity to make sure that your football netball club president is fully aware of what your feelings are from the netball side of things.
Definitely.
And just around the different leagues that are around the MPNFL, so just to get you an idea, Southern Football League, which is played out of Dingley Courts, the girls there don't have to pay to get in, but I think you'll agree our competition is a much better comp, considering that we play at the football grounds and we have much better affiliation with our clubs. And the West Gippsland League, which is where some of the Sefnal clubs moved to, they're now getting, they've got $12 entry into their game, so we're a little bit under that.
Steep, yeah.
Which is great. But the other things that just to take into consideration is the State Netball Hockey Centre. If you're a V&L player, all players, coaches, spectators, all have to pay to enter into those courts.
True.
And just another thing too is that all netball clubs were given season passes. So there was passes that were provided for both the netball officials and the umpires. So if your netball group haven't been provided those from your entire football netball club, then the committee is there, make sure that you go and ask for those, because your netball officials and umpires definitely were provided with a season pass. So I hope that has helped clear some of the areas of concern around the netball payments. We know that it takes a lot of money to get the footballers and the netballers out onto the courts. So let's see where it goes for the rest of the season.
So now we can have a look at the week that was. How did we all go last week? Did everybody see the results on the GameFace record app? And did you catch any Div 1 games, Lou?
Yeah, so there was, it was really good to see out on our games on Saturday, lots of the clubs using the live GameFace feed, so you could actually see in real time what the scores were.
Fantastic.
Probably the biggest thing that I saw on the weekend was Dramana playing their first game in Div 1 and coming up with the win, not by very much, against Rosebud. So they were a force in your competition last season, and I think we all knew that they were coming up. We're going to come up and be, up in our top end this season. So Bombers had a pretty successful first round. I know they were B grade were very disappointed with the draw. 2 minutes, I think, with 2 minutes to go, they may have been 3 or 4 goals up, and ended in a draw, so they weren't
close.
very happy about that.
Yeah.
But,
See, the A grade though came away with a win
Yeah.
because they haven't necessarily been that successful over the last few years.
no,
So
they're stepping up. They've recruited quite well this season and have moved around some of their players. So it'll be good to see when it comes to the bigger games and how they step up, I guess.
they've got Kath Leaves, I think, has returned to the club, so that's fantastic for Bombers.
And then Mornington also gave Edie a pretty good run for their money, just falling short by 6 goals. So,
Yes, definitely.
We actually played them in a practice match a couple of weeks ago, and it was very physical out there. And we've
I
got
think
a good
Mornington
game
are always
coming up.
quite a strong club. I know whenever I've played, they've always been very good competition, and they definitely showed that on the weekend. They were very tough across all grades, actually. The results didn't reflect the closeness of the games, for sure.
That was one thing that actually came out of our game from the umpires on Saturday. I was on the score bench, and every time they come off and Sorrento would increase their lead, they're like, really?
Yeah. It feels much closer than it is a lot of the time, doesn't
Yeah,
it?
and to credit to our girls, they actually put in a really great effort on Saturday, but the experience and conversion rate just let us down a little bit.
But it looks like you guys did really well in the other grades as well. I'm always interested to see when there's a difference between the A grade and then the rest of the grades, you know, whether it follows through. So it's good to see you guys really strong there against Sorrento, a
We
bit
had some
closer
very
in A grade.
strong games.
Fantastic. And how about Div 2, Christy? Any thoughts?
Well, like you said, Lou, we welcomed Seaford into our division this year, and I was lucky enough to take them on in round 1. So Seaford came across to the Somerville courts to join Division 2. Fantastic games across all 4 games. Somerville doesn't have an under-17 side, so it was D through to A that was played. And we were rapt to have Seaford join our comp. They're a fantastic group of girls. All of the games were played in great spirit, and Somerville were lucky enough to take away the wins in B, C and D, and
Very
unfortunately not quite in the A grade. So it was really close at half time, but Seaford were just able to run away with it in the end, which, much to my
Disappointment.
but that's, next time we'll take them on.
Yeah, very good.
And the other game that I saw for the round, which there was a Sunday game this week, which was the workplace game of the month, and that was for Hastings versus Tyab. So I ventured down to the Hastings courts to check that game out, and there was 3 things that I took away from that game. The first one was there's 2 girls who play for Hastings, and you're probably thinking it's the 2 girls that get a lot of media attention, but I feel like I'm not going to talk about those 2. They've been in the media enough for the last 6 months. But the 2 that I want to talk about are the goal shooter and the goal attack for Hastings. They were fantastic against Tyab. They are both young girls, so neither of them have turned 18 yet. They're due to turn 18 this year. And this was one of the big areas that Hastings looked to do when they weren't able to field an A grade side, was to get some young girls through. And they were up against some pretty solid Tyab defenders, and they really held their own.
Looking at their team photo, it was very, very young side.
Very young side, but
And it's sometimes difficult, I think, when you're younger because you're not looked at to have the same experience. But if you've got the talent, then you're going to give them a run for their money.
So Amani in goal shooter, and Helen Margaret, who I think they affectionately call Bubba, out on the court at Hastings. Both of them had a beautiful shot. They held their own. They're only slight girls, but geez, they played really well. So
fantastic.
I thought that they were a standout.
I'm joined by the captain and coach here of the Hastings Netballers in the A grade, who have just had a close win. You beat Tyab by 6 points today. How good's that?
It's always great to have a win, and especially against Tyab. They're always a benchmark club for anyone competing in Division 2 in the MPNFL. They've been at the top for, I think, the better part of 10 years. So to get a win, first game on the board against them is it's a nice run. We'll take it any day.
Sarah, you're on the court. How was it out there when it was close at the end?
It was good. The girls, they put a hard effort in right till the end, and Tyab, like Trish said, they've been a top side for the past 10 years, so that was the first time we've been able to beat them. And we've got such a young side, like the girls, we've got so much talent coming through, so it was pretty exciting being able to put together 4 full quarters and again came away with the win, so pretty exciting.
Who were the better players in your eyes, Trish?
Definitely Jess Osking, so her shift back out to wing ding, that's where she plays.
Wing ding, wing defence.
Yeah, wing dinger. And I've played a lot of netball with Jess as my wing dinger. She's strong in that position and she's really deceptive, so I thought she made a big difference in shutting down their drive. for Taya, Birgitte's always such a target, such a focal point, and she's just been such a strong netballer for such a long time. So she had a great game for her 100th, so they weren't my best.
It was Work Safe Game of the Month. Where's the trophy going to go?
I'd like to say back in my cupboard at home, but something tells me it'll be up at the clubs in the room, so it's a nice one to be able to put up there. It looks lovely. So back in the club rooms, I think, today.
Well, there you have it. In the A-grade netball here, Hastings versus Tyab. Hastings get the chocolates, and thanks for joining us on GameFace.
The other standout for the game, I thought, was the wing defence for Tyab, Talisha. Or she's called T, I think, out on the court. Now, she's a B-grade player and has been for the last year or two. And I think there were some girls on the sideline from her B-grade team that were worried that she may not come back down to play with them. She had a really great game too. So that was that. And the last thing that came from the game was that it was the Work Safe Game of the Match, Game of the Month. So that allowed some Vixens players to come along to support the game. So they had Renee Ingalls take to the sidelines for Hastings, and Eloise Southby was on the coach's bench for Tyab. So for the young girls to have people of that calibre to be on their sidelines, giving them some tips and hints during the game, I thought was fantastic. And
awesome.
yeah, that was really impressive. So Vixen's fantastic for supporting that and getting out to grassroots netball.
And you can really see the difference when you do have those people on the sidelines, how, like, just watching Shelley O'Donnell in our game, just the direction they have. They don't even need to be involved, but they can tell exactly where a ball's going and who's it's going to, and direct the next movement, which is something you just look on in awe.
Yes, fantastic.
So that was really great.
Awesome.
So some fantastic games in Division 2, and can't wait to see what we come up with tomorrow.
Brilliant. So shall we preview what we've got coming up tomorrow? Let's have a quick look. We've got in Div 1, let's start with Div 1, we've got Bomb Beach versus Rosebud, and that's played at Bomb Beach's new home courts, which will be really great to see. We've got Dramana versus Frankston, that's played at Dramana. Mornington are hosting Frankston YCW. That should be a really strong game for you guys.
So we didn't I don't think we played the full game the other week, so it'll be good to see across all 4 grades just where we are at. We had great competition last year. Both times we played, we thought their team's making the final, so it will be good to see where both clubs are at.
Fantastic. And Sorrento are hosting Mount Eliza, and we've got Pines are hosting EDS.
And over in Division 2, I think the games of the round will be Chelsea versus Coringal. I know Chelsea's recruited quite well this season, so be interesting to see what takes place in that game tomorrow. And also, I'd say probably Seaford versus Langwarrin. So just to see, whether
how they measure up.
What the contest across there is like, whether Seaford can get 2 from 0. Yeah.
Fantastic. So we see a few clubs are launching their new courts this year, so it'd be really good to see some of these new facilities coming across. We've got in Div 1 Mount Eliza and Bond Beach, and in Div 2 we've got Rye and Red Hill.
Yeah, so we were lucky enough to play at Mount Eliza. I think they opened their courts the last 2 games of the year last year, so we had our final round, and they're a great set of courts, a little bit across from the football, but in the one venue, so you're all there together. Fantastic. A little bit of a walk to the toilets. But
that's a huge achievement for Mount Eliza to have that there.
Good team bonding session for pre-warm-up.
That's it. We did the same thing at Bomb Beach on the weekend, so we actually are sharing our, EDS is sharing the home courts with Bomb Beach this year. They've been nice enough to host us there, so we actually got to play our first home game there on the weekend. Beautiful courts are actually really nice. We've got 2 side by side, which is always great to have the 2. Little bit of a walk to the toilets again, but not too bad really, and it's just a nice little jog there and then a jog back, which gives you a good warm up for the game, so it's very good.
And Megan Dell, the senior coach at Seaford, was pretty impressed with the facilities that we have done at Somerville with the 3 courts that we have, so plenty of space to warm up. The club rooms and everything close by, so we may be a little bit lucky, but she also didn't play us in the rain where we do become quite slippery, so she might think differently if it's in the middle of winter. So which courts are your favourites around the grounds?
Great question.
I don't know. I was thinking about this before, and I don't like, no offence, Bombers' actual court, but their change rooms and facilities to be able to run up there, especially after it's pouring down with rain, and have a shower and a nice hot shower is awesome.
Sounds amazing.
I love the space that we have at our courts, even though we share it with a host of other teams, you've always got somewhere to warm up. Would like a little bit more shelter when it comes to rain, but we're working on that one. Seaford, great indoor court, particularly at Linden House now. So I think they're the only place in the
so we've
inside
swapped. So
Dramana,
so
we don't get any inside
no,
courts anymore.
Dramana has an indoor court.
Oh, they do?
Yeah,
Okay.
so we've done a trade.
Yeah. That's good.
So there's still one equally swapped there, but so we've got Seaford now, so we've got those 2 indoor games, which we won't oppose in the middle of winter when it's cold. But other than that, I think in our division, most of the courts are of pretty similar standard. We're really lucky that most of the local councils have really got behind our clubs and have been able to provide some pretty good facilities. So
Very lucky.
The interesting one is that Red Hill have a new court, so I think everyone, I don't know if they'll be excited not to be playing in the cheering shed. I know I always put up pretty sore after playing Red Hill.
It was never
I
very
don't know
much
if
fun.
it's because I'm one of the more mature players out there, but the body always pulled up very sore from that that shed. So we're looking forward to some the courts out there.
Fantastic. Do you guys have any specifics that you think can make a really good facility? Is there anything that you have to have? Is there anything that you can compromise on?
I think a little bit of shelter is nice, particularly when our game is in winter. But you never know with that gate fees that the clubs are getting in this year. Maybe we will have some new facilities around next season.
And for me, I think the most important thing is some space to warm up. So there are some clubs where you're sent out to the car parks, you're sent out to the gravel,
and you
onto
annoy
the
all the
grass.
parents coming in to park their cars or the players.
Which is fine if we were doing that through the middle of summer, but when it becomes wet, that becomes really challenging. So that's, I think, is one of the most important things for me as both a player and as a coach.
3 courts sounds amazing, I have to say, because 2 courts is doable, but if you 3 courts just gives you so much more flexibility,
That's right.
doesn't it?
We offer a court each to each of the teams that are warming up. So it's
good.
pretty good.
It's awesome.
Okay.
So I guess, look, I probably don't have a favourite just yet. I need to see a bit more, but I'm really, really looking forward to getting some home courts of our own. We know Helen down at our club's been working for the whole 10 years that we've been going on getting some home courts at EDS. So we finally got it through council, so we're waiting on building happening. I think it's due to start in August. So hopefully we can, start to have a bit of a game at the end of the year, but otherwise it'll be, next year. So
that's exciting because that'll be nearly, I think, Div 1, most courts
will actually have proper home courts.
Their facilities. I know people say that Mornington and YC aren't at the venue, but there's no way council's going to build another court when there's already 8 or 14 there. So we are pretty much bang on at the football, so it'll be good.
Yep.
Fantastic.
All right, so we move on to, one of the more exciting areas of the show.
Yes, it's definitely my favourite. I was definitely looking forward to what people send through, and don't forget you can inbox the GameFace page directly with your rumours that come through.
All right, so let's see what we have in the rumour file this week. All right. So, Division 1, which football netball club almost separated over the off-season due to them not particularly getting along?
That's interesting. Look, there could be rumours coming from our club. I know our 2 don't particularly get along that well. There's a little bit of division there, so it'll be interesting to see what comes out of that.
I think it could potentially, from the rumours you hear at our wonderful league meetings, it could be a couple of different clubs. And from this whole gate fee thing, it sounds like a lot of netball committees aren't really talking to the football committee, so it'll be interesting to see where that comes from.
So if you've got any updates on that, feel free to post on our page. And the Division 2 rumour. Which Division 2 player is pregnant and not playing this year?
Ooh.
Well, I've seen one couple in general, but not from Div 2. One pretty big one that would play on your heartstrings a little bit. One of your best players not
you're right.
taking the court this season.
I'm not sure if this is relating to the Somerville player, but yes, our probably one of our most senior players at Somerville, Danny Planner, has announced that she's pregnant, so won't be playing the 2019
It's the best injury
season.
to have, really, isn't it? It's just the best. It's so exciting.
We couldn't be happier for her.
Yes, it's happy sad.
Yes, but as the coach and all of her teammates were kind of gritting their teeth with their celebratory comments when they found out, because obviously they'd like to be out on the court as well.
Of course. At least it's an injury you can recover fairly well from, generally speaking.
So I'm not sure if that's the one. So if there's anybody else who's got a secret hiding out there, then we'll wait.
It's good news to share, so we'll look forward to
This
it.
is the first year we haven't had any big pregnancies, so
You may have just jinxed yourself there.
It is catching, I hear, so you never know.
And also a big congratulations to Bethany Leach from Rosebud, who's playing her 100th game tomorrow against Bomb Beach. So very, very impressive effort from someone who's only just turned 21 years of age.
Wow.
So don't forget, if you do have any milestones playing in your seasons, come up and let us know on the GameFace app so we can congratulate them.
Gee whiz, she could be in a 300 or 400 game player if she's
21.
I know, amazing. She's got
21.
a lot of playing years ahead if you go by some of the ages that we've got. Yeah. Now, thanks again to our sponsor, Frankie Media, for their support. The guys at Frankie Media can help you with all of your business needs. From websites to print to marketing and sales, head to frankiemedia.com.au to find out more.
And thanks to our official apparel partners, Swith's Locker, who can help you out with all of your apparel needs, both on and off the court. So good luck to all our teams playing tomorrow, and we'll see you again next week.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
Cheers.